Hello everyone, good to see you again. I'm sorry about last week. We had a couple of mini episodes of different events that meant we couldn't make a film. So I had fallen halfway down the stairs last Saturday. Then on Sunday I just fell flat in the road when I was walking the dogs, and I really jarred my whole left side of my rib cage. And then on Monday, I went to collect Lol from the airport. He'd been away visiting his parents when the car door caught me and hit me in the jaw. So I wasn't feeling 100%. And then Lol came back, and a day or two later, he came down with a stomach bug. So we just didn't have the energy and the focus to make a film. So very sorry about that, but we're back now. And it's a beautiful, beautiful spring day. Fantastic blue skies, and I've been out and I've got myself just a few little dandelion leaves and nettles to make a nice cleansing cup of tea, because it's springtime, it's time to do a cleanse. So I have just a few little ones here just to make a couple of cups of tea. And because it's springtime, I'm going to sow some wheatgrass grains, and I thought I'd show you how I do it. Usually, if you're sowing wheatgrass to grow for juicing, it's recommended that you use an organic compost or one that's been super cleaned. So I don't have those composts. I've only got my own compost, and I thought I'll use this instead of the shop bought stuff, because if there's anything in there, it's already been through us and we've eaten it. So it's kind of our terroir, so to speak. So I have a bag of wheatgrass grain here, and this grain is very similar to wheat grain. It's a little bit smaller, I think, and you sow this just like you would if you're sowing oats outside. So I've got two trays here, so I'm just going to cover the surface of the trays with the wheatgrass grains. And I know that people use lights and they put them in the dark and they put them here and they put them there. I've always grown them here in the greenhouse and they grow beautifully well. And I don't go into all the faffy stuff. I just sow them and I just use it as it grows. So it's springtime. I've already picked some dandelions and nettles, and I'm doing the wheatgrass juice as well because it's a brilliant blood cleanser and gives a lot of energy. It just supports the body in so many ways. And I'm doing this not just because it's springtime, but also because I've just been told I have elevated liver enzymes. And it is a trait in my family. We all tend to have elevated liver enzymes. None of us have ever had a liver complaint, so to speak. But the fact that they're elevated would indicate that my liver is not functioning 100%. So doing things like the wheatgrass, drinking dandelion tea, nettle tea, all of those things, eating a really healthy diet with lots of good fats like avocados and coconut, fish oils, flax oils, and organic food, of course, because I don't want to add to any kind of toxic load. I think my enzymes are always elevated because I came from a very, very industrial area in the north of England before I came back to Ireland. That's where we lived. And I'm sure that had some kind of impact. Also, when you're in the womb, you inherit the toxins of your mother. So on both sides of my family, there would have been a lot of drinking. So in terms of my father and my grandparents, my grandfathers, both of them, they would have been drinkers, and I just think over the generations it takes its toll. So I'm remediating that by doing what I've just said I'm going to be doing. Okay, so what I do then is I'm just lightly covering this with some of my homemade compost. So as I was saying, it's kind of like a terroir. I've eaten this, and these are the food wastes from our kitchen. So they're nearly all covered now. Just covering them. And then just as you would with the oats outside, I'm going to get my little fork, and I'm just going to, what's the word? It's not hoe or till, it's, you just kind of tickle the surface. Yeah, just cover it again, any that have become uncovered. I'm using filtered water just to ensure we can remove as many contaminants and pollutants as possible. And then just leave that and it will grow. And it will grow so high, and you cut it right down and juice it, and then it will grow again and you cut it down. So we'll get at least 2 harvests from each of these trays. And then we can just keep sowing through the year. So I do love this time of year. All the lovely spring plants are coming up to help us to be clean. Apart from the cleavers and the dandelion and the nettle tea, everybody at this time of year is interested in spring cleaning in their house. But I also like to get the greenhouse cleaned, and I'm doing these windows again because they were so dirty from being in the shed. I make my own window cleaner from white vinegar and a little bit of Castile soap, and I don't use chemicals because, as I said, I'm cleaning my liver at the moment, and all the chemicals in our environment have to be passed through the liver to eliminate them from the body. So the liver gets a huge amount of work to do, and so the fewer chemicals you have in your environment, obviously it's the better for you, and it's the best for your liver as well. So I'll put the recipe below. It's so simple, especially for windows like these, which are particularly dirty. So it's a wonderful time of year for cleaning and clearing and new projects, and we've been kind of tidying up all around the garden as well. We've been working on our new project, but I've also been clearing out stuff as well, clearing out dead wood, pruning back some of the trees, and clearing up areas where there's been a lot of kind of mess over the winter from leaves and everything. Some of them get left to just keep the soil rejuvenated, and some of it gets cleaned up. And of course, as we're kind of sorting ourselves out inside, pruning the trees and preparing them for spring and summer is also important, to give them a kind of sense of rejuvenation as well. So I suppose they are my themes at the moment: recycling, regenerating, rejuvenating and renewing. Because after all of the other re's, you will feel renewed. now I'm just going to go and sow my oats, and that's down below on one of the beds. Choo, 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 choo. Come on, girlie. Come on. This is our rebel hen. We keep finding her outside the run. I don't know how she's getting out. We clipped her wings this morning. We might have to do them again. Go on, girl. Tell them all about it. So it must be the light. We've got amazing light recently with the springtime coming. These are beds I've just prepared with raspberries and currants, and I'm going to put oats in here. And I've remembered the term when you're disturbing the soil. It's harrowing. So I'm just going to broadcast the oats here. I like to grow oats because it was something that my grandparents did. Connemara is a great place to grow oats. And I've talked before about oats, but obviously they're very absolute excellent foods. Really good for the nervous system and for the gut, but also great medicine. So I like to have them for the medicine and for the food, and of course the stalks, the grass is great for the chickens. We've been eating these as porridge. We soak them overnight. So they've just been broadcast, and now I'm just going to harrow. And it's basically, I'm just pulling them through the soil. And there you are. Just take out these few weeds. I've got some cleavers over here and some more nettles. Oh yeah. The nettles are a little bit larger here. Cleavers is also a fantastic herb to be using this time of year because it's such a great lymph cleanser. And it's all here. So I'm going to take some of this for tea as well. So I'll just show you a cleavers. Here we go, a little plant. You can see it's got 6 petals, 6 little leaves rather, that go around the stem, and they stick on. They stick on to new arm warmers. Thank you, Anita. I absolutely adore these. Such lovely shades of green. They go perfectly with this dress and with another green dress I have, and I really appreciate them. So yeah, cleavers will stick to arm warmers and they'll stick to anything. And they look a little bit like a bottle brush, and they go into your lymph and they clean out all the gunk and the grunge and all the muck that's been sitting in there over winter, and that makes you feel much lighter and brighter and more energetic. It improves the skin and everything. Aches and pains will disappear. So I'm going to get some of these cleavers and put them in my nettle and dandelion tea and have a really cleansing tea as part of my big clean-up operation. So we're cleaning up the garden, we're cleaning up ourselves as well, and I'm going to go back and give the greenhouse a second go of being cleaned because they're a bit streaky. You see, they were second-hand windows that were recycled, and they've been sitting around in a shed for decades, and they need a really good clean. So I'll go back and do them again, and then this glorious light will be able to shine in and help the little seedlings to grow. So I hope you're all well, and I hope I've given you some ideas for spring cleansing and spring cleaning that you can do it yourself, and you'll feel much better and more energetic. So hoping you do that, and see you next week. Bye. Come on, Jazz. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.